Oh, check this out. Yeah. They slowly let people slip into like unhappy citizens.
Yeah.
And then what happens? People leave the country.
So that's why even they gave me money, I don't vote them because they can't buy my vote. Like 1,000 pesos, like that.
Because it's the easiest thing is just to stay the same, right?
New generations, they vote BBM.
Yeah, like I think he was like very in touch with social media.
Yeah.
One of the iconic things about elections is they'll have hot dogs for sale, like sausage sizzle. If they want to build some roads, like within a couple years, it's built. Like in Sydney, they just redid the whole motorway system. So they do have to avoid the potential corruption and things that could happen. So this is where we're going to compare with the Philippines, because that's really what people are here to see. What's the voting like in the West and what's the voting like in the Philippines. Hey guys, good morning. Scott and Ella here. Are you ready to change the world?
Yes, I am.
Right, what that means is we're going to go vote. That's right. Have you ever voted in Australia before?
I haven't voted in Australia because I am still in temporary visa, baby.
And how about you guys at home? Have you guys voted? Probably, depending on where you are in the world and how old you are.
Yeah.
You have. So here's what makes voting in Australia a little bit unusual. And we're going to take you up close and personal. First things first, they have these community center areas to vote. And we're going to like a church, which is like 2 blocks away from where we live. So that's good.
Yeah.
It's not, they're sort of spread out all over and everybody puts in an effort, volunteers and whatever.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How are you gonna know who's the person you're gonna vote, which is like they haven't done like campaign?
Yeah, so I'm trying to look for some signs, because usually when you get close to the voting station, there's just like poster boards everywhere. Vote for me, vote for me. So
yeah, but like kind of campaign, because in the Philippines we have this like campaign, like they do event and then they tell what they're gonna do, like that, like plataforma, like platform.
Right. Okay, well, this is I think what's funny is we did this before, right? We voted.
No,
like,
you voted.
It was I think the national election. This is a local election. So this is, again, they vote not all at the same time. So you have to go back multiple times depending on the cycle. So about 2 weeks before, you're going to start seeing ads everywhere. Like on billboards, and they put them, everywhere, posters on. It's just like littering all over the street. It's really ugly. But this year, they mail you like a QR code, which sort of is like your fast pass to vote, which is actually one step better than previous. Normally you have to go and show your ID, and they have to look you up on a paper booklet. It's really like old-fashioned.
Yeah.
And then, of course, people move all the time. So if it doesn't match your ID that you've got, so if your license doesn't match or
your place.
Yeah, then they really can't count your vote on the day, and it's kind of like a big bit of a administrative nightmare. So, but the other thing is like, all right, voting, what is it and how do you know who to vote for, like you said?
Yeah.
So at the same time as they mailed me this thing, they mailed this.
Only one person.
So the whole campaign, there was only one candidate that sent something in the letterbox, which granted is a pretty old-fashioned way to do it. Maybe people are on social media, maybe people are, grassroots, like walking around and meeting people. But
the problem is how are you gonna know that they are real, that they will do it? Like.
Yeah. Well, I guess the point is like good for people to get involved in their community. But look at the amateur nature of this. Okay. So basically, I don't even know where to start. Do I start with her name? This side of the flyer is basically, it's got her name. Looks like a resume, but it's a font. Can you see the font? It's something a kid would use, like that crayon font. But it's just it's so like a grade schooler, So obviously this is just grassroots, and she probably did it at home on her home computer. Yeah,
this is what is in this one is like about what she wanna do.
Yeah.
Like
so what we're gonna do is hear from Ella to read that, to see what kind of what are they trying to do to convince us that we're gonna vote for them.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll stop so you can read it. What is the first one?
So.
Why am I the right person to represent?
Why am I the right person to represent you? The first one is like, I will reintroduce curbside cleanup. What is curbside?
So again, like, does everyone understand all this stuff? Curbside cleanup is obviously like if you have a house, a home, or even you're in an apartment, you might have some trash. And she's saying that you're going to be allowed to just leave it on the side of the road for the council to come pick it up. So it's helping people get rid of their clutter. Is that a good one? I guess it's like all about what people care about. So let's see.
Yeah.
I do know they already have that, but you can only book it like once a month or once a year, something like that.
Okay.
So I don't know, maybe she's gonna, what that does mean is that there's hopefully less junk, because people are pretty notorious for just dumping their stuff on the side of the road.
Yeah.
And then it's no one's responsibility. So she's gonna.
The second one is like, I will reintroduce the Chinatown markets, which is the Chinatown is like famous, and then I don't see that they really need to introduce it, because I saw a lot of people going to that Chinatown.
Yeah, so again, it's maybe reading between the lines, like Chinatown markets, maybe it's a bit more of a community type thing. I don't know what that means. Does that mean that people can buy and sell some products, you know?
Yeah, another is like, I will advocate for more CCTV in hotspot areas to help combat crime and looting. Is it hotspot areas? Is that internet?
So she sees this hotspot and she thinks right away, there's more Wi-Fi, vote for them. So hotspot areas is like, when they talk about crime hotspots, it's areas of notorious, you know,
like
trouble.
A place where it's like crime is always happening there.
So far it's I will.
Yeah, I will, but
and I will. But after that, it starts to get less commitment.
I know.
What's number 4?
I pledge to stick to my election promises: roads, rates, rubbish, and fixing up the parks. I mean, rate is like the cost.
What are they going to do about dogs on a leash? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
So I pledge. So that's a little bit more.
Serious?
Less. It's like less commitment.
I will do my utmost. Is it utmost or outmost?
Utmost. So again, that just means I will try very hard.
You think?
So it's sort of like I will. Then I will pledge, and then I will do my utmost. So she's getting more like disconnected from what she'll actually do.
Utmost to continue to solve the homeless issues in and around the Southport.
Yeah, so she's touching on some issues that people would be concerned about. So they're sort of acting on fear. Like, I don't know how one person is going to change it. It's kind of a big problem. Keep going.
I am able to be contacted 24/7 and on my direct mobile number.
So that's where it gets interesting. She's putting herself out there as 24/7 representative with your phone number and email. That's a bit,
not really.
It's a bit...
Not realistic.
Not realistic.
Yeah.
And it's also sort of lends itself to being like a bit amateur. Like you're going to let your personal phone number out there.
Yeah, he has. I think she has a phone number here and email.
So people are going to like call her in the middle of the night.
Maybe.
With some like domestic, you know, like you're fighting with your neighbor. So I think it sort of shows that she's not really ready for people to be calling her in the middle of the night.
Yeah, and next is, I will listen, have an open door policy, and I will fight for Division 6 as a strong voice in council.
Okay. And, you know, as a strong voice just means like she's one of probably 100 different people that are involved, and there's no real decision maker.
Yeah.
Everything needs consensus. So pretty much she's not going to have any power to do anything.
Yeah. And the last one, I will support all of our local businesses, small businesses, sporting teams, and community organizations. Oh my God, I'm going to have a small business hand. She will support me.
Right? So all this to say is like they're just getting little keywords and trying to make you feel good. And
yeah.
Oh yeah. But the flyer does it for me. Like, vote number 1. And, you know, I promise. This is the classic. So
in the Philippines, before they vote, they have this like, if it's like local, on like barangay, captain, I don't know, but it's like they giving money. Yeah. They give money, and then like it's fun because I got money, but I don't vote that person who give me a money.
Really?
Yeah.
So they actually,
because I need
corruption, right? They're paying you?
Because I need someone who already did something.
Is that legal, do you think?
It's illegal.
Illegal, but they're doing it.
Yeah, they did, but it's not like the national. It's like the local area.
Yeah. Let me give you a little preview because we've arrived. All right, so here we go. We basically have some posters and
how am I gonna be here?
a long line, which is going to be a long wait.
I can't be here, right?
So everyone has just woken up from their Friday nights.
I cannot be here.
Yeah, you can. You can wait with me.
No, I mean I'm not allowed inside.
You can.
No.
She's gonna wait along my side, and we're just gonna go through the process. And we'll see how long this line takes. We might have to come back a bit later.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, so quickly to the point, we didn't want to record during the voting process,
Yeah.
and that's true. They had a big sign saying no cameras, and if you have a phone, whatever, hide it, etc., etc. So they do have to avoid the potential corruption and things that could happen. So this is where we're going to compare with the Philippines, because
Yeah.
that's really what people are here to see. What's the voting like in the West, and what's the voting like in the Philippines? So tell me a little bit. So you were a little bit unsure about being able to come there inside with me.
Yeah, because I am just like scared that it's not even allowed.
So take us through that experience. So we walked up, and what happened? There was waiting in line, and then what happened?
Yeah, and nothing.
And
they
then-
didn't ask anything. They didn't ask anything about me. They just asked you, and then I just stand next to you, and then that's it. And it's very fast. It's not even like doesn't even like take 5 minutes.
Yeah. So, but they want to know like maybe the exact steps. Maybe I'll just tell it.
Yeah.
So you walk in, like I said, showed you before. They've got this little document, got your address, QR code scanner. So it's all pretty much high tech. And this is a council election, so a little bit different than the national election. So I was talking a little bit before about how this, well, it's a bit complicated. But normally in the national election, you got to write it on a big piece of paper, and you have to rank the candidates by like 1 to 20. There's a bird. Let's get out of here.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just amazing that it doesn't take any like hour.
Yeah,
I think it's only 5 minutes, and that's it. In the Philippines, you have to wait. As in sometimes the waiting can last like 3 hours, and then inside you're gonna be there like could be like more than 20 minutes or less than 20 minutes, like that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I wasn't sure how long that was going to take. Now, normally there's something a little bit more of a highlight. Like I brought you along because I thought we could have. One of the iconic things about elections is they'll have hot dogs for sale, like sausage sizzle.
But they don't have.
That was a bit no. So this is the peak day, Saturday. So Saturday morning, I thought for sure. They had a few people handing out flyers just before going in, right? So there's that, trying to convince you at the last minute.
Yeah.
But ultimately, actually, that was pretty simple. All you have to do is write a number 1 by the mayor's name and a number 1 by the councilor's name.
So it's 1-1, and then that's it. Put in the ballot paper and ballot bags and accept.
For sure. So there's one of the things that made me laugh is like how much, politicians, right? Nobody really holds them in high regard, I feel. And for good reason. There's a lot of people that have self-interest and they try to line their own pockets. On the mayor, longtime mayor of the Gold Coast, and on his poster, everyone recognizes his face.
Oh, that's nice.
Vote for me. And then at the bottom, you have to have those political approvals. Like everything has to be approved. So it says, this has been approved by, and you look at the name, and it's his wife.
The wife.
Yeah. So
and who is? And then
he's a longtime mayor, and he's got his wife involved in the
wife. What is
approvals
what
process.
Is she?
I don't know what she is, but obviously that's a bit close to home. If you got your family members approving your messages, you should have someone that's a little bit more unbiased. So anyway,
my goodness, that's funny.
That's the way it works here. And in the Philippines, I mean, I know they had change of politicians at the top. Like
so
I remember is it Duterte? How do you pronounce it?
It's Duterte before.
Yeah.
So the presidents, the nationals is separate from the local also.
Yeah. Now, Duterte was like, do you have any perception of like what he was like?
I don't really like keep in touch about that news about presidents.
But does politics did it affect your life in any way? Like maybe they gave more handouts, more free support?
No, never affect my life.
So he got voted out though, right?
Yeah, he won the election.
Was it because he was like out of term, like he was too old to continue, or do you think he just wasn't popular anymore?
Oh, the reason why he is not president right now.
What was the change?
Well, because every 6 years they have to vote, and there's another candidate, and of course, whoever wins, that's it. He's gonna be the president. But I think he didn't join.
And then the new president has implemented some things pretty strongly.
Yeah.
BBM.
BBM.
So, you know the full name?
Bongbong Marcos.
Yes. So he's got the Marcos last name.
And actually, my people in my place doesn't like him also.
Okay. Any reason? Like, do you just Do you remember
because of his father.
Aha, exactly. So he's got the long time
Yeah,
ago.
like a marks, like a scar that left to people.
Now I don't know enough about the history to know why, like
Mhm.
why that negative feeling. Was it because of unfairness or just
Because
corruption or?
I think because they said his father before, his father like did some martial law like that, and
Mhm.
then I don't know, I don't have any idea about that, but that's what they just don't like
But
him.
that would have been like your parents' generation.
Yeah,
So long ago.
but some generations, the new generations, they vote BBM.
Yeah, like I think he was like very in touch with social media.
Yeah,
Whether he had like a good team, campaign manager,
yeah. And,
young people like you.
and then the vice president is the Duterte's daughter.
Really?
Yeah,
So even still, there's sort of a connection.
yeah.
Um, yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, you can usually judge by whether things change a lot or stay the same. And what's interesting about the Gold Coast here and Queensland and Australia, actually in general, things change so quickly. Like if they want to build some roads, like within a couple years, it's built. Like in Sydney, they just redid the whole motorway system, and that's we're talking about like digging up like central streets and putting the whole thing underground, and they made that happen in less than probably 10 years.
That's nice.
They put in a second airport, and they just kind of do it. So I don't know.
Actually, that's nice.
It is good. It's good that things get done. So you feel like as a citizen, you can experience and you benefit from that. You're not sitting around waiting.
Yeah.
I must say, in Canada, I didn't see one significant change. Born there in,
Yeah.
whatever my age
In the
is,
Philippines, in the Philippines, it's taking so long. It's gonna take so long if they're building something.
Yeah, because it's the easiest thing is just to stay the same, right? And have some excuse and do some risk analysis and say,
Yeah.
oh, if we make this change, something, we might get voted out, might not be popular, or it's just a lot of work and accountability. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm interested to hear from people about how you find the balance between like taking and contributing to your community, right? Because you got to give credit to someone like this. We found out she's a nurse, and she's just put her hand up saying, "Hey, I want to make a difference."
Oh, that's nice.
So you can't really
But
talk
first,
bad about that.
yeah. But the problem is how we gonna know that it's legit.
But it's like channeling your efforts, right? So is she going to actually be able to
Change things.
solo and also it's a bit of a when you start promising things, like that's why people don't trust politicians because they promise the world.
It's same in my place. Like they do campaign, promise here, promise there, promise everywhere, and after that, I don't see things that happen. And then what's funny is like when the elections come, they give like money.
Can we sit down somewhere?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they give us like money sometimes. Something I got like 1,000 pesos like that. And then even in the I remember in the election day, I was like in that room and then just like secret, I got 400 pesos.
That's amazing that the corruption and that money's got to come from somewhere. So money's changing hands.
Yeah. So actually they use their own money.
Yeah.
So that's why even they gave me money, I don't vote them because they can't buy my vote.
So you're kind of protesting.
Yeah.
You're protesting by taking their money. They think they're making influence, but then not.
No.
They're just.
So I was like telling to that my parents, they not like upset like my goodness, because why? I have the right I have the right to choose someone who I want to vote, not just because their money. Like they gave me money, why don't you just accept it?
Right. So I guess that means, what does it mean for us? What is it? Like we're citizens here, and we're gonna always be that. I'm still citizen in Canada, so the political system there is like people know about the Trudeau, the latest government. It's just been, and before that, they weren't really doing anything to change the world either. They slowly let people slip into like unhappy citizens.
Yeah.
And then what happens? People leave the country. So that's kind of the message here, is that if the governments don't take action, they might think they're getting away with it for a little while, but what happens when your citizens decide, hey, I'm going to move to the Philippines because it's,
Yeah.
a better quality of life for their freedoms and their, the economics of it.
Yeah. Do you think here in Australia, is there any like situation where it's about election and then people like kind of like they just say die like that because it's election day?
Did you say die?
Mm-hmm.
How are they going to die?
Like people maybe like enemy.
Like assassin?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, that could happen in like governments where there's a lot of fear and you don't want to resist and vote against the wrong guy. No, definitely not. In the Western world, there's not such things like that. I don't know if you ever heard of like JFK in America. So he would have been a very popular president, and he was assassinated.
Oh, really?
But he was already voted in, and he was popular. But he was like young and attractive, and I think he was dating Marilyn Monroe, who was like a supermodel, and like he was just sort of like unconventional, and not everyone's gonna like that. And so people have done that, and I'm sure there's been other presidential sort of.
Yeah, I heard that also in the Philippines that I don't know if it's about election, but it's something. It's a person who has like positions and then like
power. So someone's trying to knock them off. It's almost like a criminal organization.
Yeah.
So you want to take out the top, and then whoever. It's like Breaking Bad, right?
Yeah.
So you knock off the top guy, and then all of a sudden he's the new top dog, and then everyone has to listen to them because they're acting out of fear. Yeah, politics thankfully doesn't work like that. There's enough people. It's just you got to question people's involvement because like people that are putting their hand up to be in government, you know what? It's a pretty hefty paycheck. Like you get paid a lot, and you can kind of hide behind what they call bureaucracy. Do you know what bureaucracy is?
No.
It's just like busy work. You just make excuses and there's a rule for this and a rule for that. And you just spend so much energy trying to follow the rules that no one's actually taking a decision. You have to, I have to check with this other committee and let's take a vote and do a risk assessment. So
that's actually, no hate, but I feel like in my place like that, I feel that they just join on like elections to be our candidate because of I don't know, but I don't want to say bad, like maybe money, mostly money because
people would say, oh yeah, everyone sits back and complains, oh this and that, the government doesn't do this, and then the obvious thing to say is, well, why don't you get involved? I don't see you putting your hand up to be leading, and you're not on the ballot box.
Yeah, why am I gonna do that?
I feel like I'm that guy who would be like, yeah, that's the right thing. So those who want to speak up and change, do it. Put your name on the ballot. Go through that experience. Take action, right? And just voice your opinions. And the internet's good for that. So all you trolls out there, all you people that have opinions about how things should work. There's a lot of people that rant and like, oh, this and that. Well, what are you doing what's your suggestion then?
Yeah.
That's the obvious thing to point out. And I would say the same. Anything we say here on this channel, and so like, what's our suggestion? If you see a problem, like, oh, we don't like this, or this could be better. Well, then how could it be better? Tell me specifically. Make it be known. So, yeah. Ella for president?
No, I will never join.
Did you know I did that once? I never liked politics. I don't like what it stands for.
I never like politics because I don't want responsibility to the community. I hate responsibility, like your community will just like, they need you. I don't need
even
that.
Even in school, you weren't voted as like, vote for Ella.
I've been like become vice president, which is I don't like it. Like, I just want to be like a normal person, like I can do troubles if I want.
Yeah. See? So like I also put my hand up to be like class president, and you got voted in. I was just like, wow, I can't believe I won. And then it's like, now what? And then you have all this responsibility. You realize it was a job no one ever wanted anyway.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Oh, check this out. Yeah.
What is that?
Hit it. Oh, he doesn't want to be, he doesn't want to get caught on camera.
So yeah, and being a candidate in something like we have a position at school, if there's no president, you will be the second one. I'm vice president, which I don't want that. If the president is gone, not there, my God, I should be there.
So they kind of keep you as a stand-in, like a backup.
Yeah, because I don't want that.
Oh, well, anyway, I guess that's a little bit about the voting experience in Australia.
All I want is to be a treasurer.
Of course, guys, of course. Cha-ching, cash, count those coins. Oh, I still have the gold coins, by the way, because again, we're gonna spend it on the hot dogs. But
You mean because I have the coins?
We'll have to go for a coffee.
Look at that.
All right, can you please
50 cents, but it's really big.
donate to Ella's political party? Maybe in the Philippines we can create something like
Charity.
you know, like the Travel Adventures Party, something like that. Didn't you know that they've got a lot of different political parties? You can invent it. You can have like the marijuana party. You can have the
What, marijuana parte?
You can have anything you want and just put a name on it, and then that's the thing. Democracy. Do you know what democracy is?
I heard democracy, but
It's a word that means like it's a fair system where anyone can have a try at it. But if you don't get any votes, then people are gonna quickly ignore you and forget about you. So, and you have to spend a little bit of money for fundraising. So I don't know.
my goodness.
Lots to say. Fun day. We voted, and that means we're not going to get a fine in the mail. And I was hoping to get a little breakfast for you, but it didn't work out. So
I know, right?
I'll have to take you out now.
Let's go.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.